During the 5th century BCE, Athens evolved into an important and prosperous city-state, and under the leadership of Pericles 445 to 429 BCE, it entered a golden age of scholarship and culture. This attracted people from all parts of Greece, and for those who knew and could interpret the law, there were rich pickings to be had. The city was run on broadly democratic principles, with an established legal system. Anyone taken to court was required to plead his own case. There were no advocates, but a recognized class of advisors soon evolved. Among this group was Protagoras. Protagoras lectured in law and rhetoric to anybody who could afford him. His teachings were essentially about practical matters, arguing to win a civil case rather than to prove a point, but he could see the philosophical implications of what he taught. For Protagoras, every argument has two sides, and both may be equally valid. He claims that he can make the worse case the better, proving not the worth of the argument, but the persuasiveness of its proponent. In this way, he recognizes that belief is subjective, and it is the man holding the view or opinion that is the measure of its worth. This style of reasoning, common in law and politics at that time, was new to philosophy. By placing human beings at its center, it continued a tradition of taking religion out of philosophical argument, and it also shifted the focus of philosophy away from an understanding of the nature of the universe to an examination of human behavior. Protagoras is mainly interested in practical questions. Philosophical speculations on the substance of the cosmos or about the existence of the gods seem pointless to him, as he considers such things to be ultimately unknowable. The main implication of man as the measure of all things is that belief is subjective and relative. This leads Protagoras to reject the existence of absolute definitions of truth, justice, or virtue. What is true for one person may be false for another, he claims. For example, it is a spring day in Athens. A visitor from Sweden says the weather is warm. A visitor from Egypt says the weather is cold. Both people are speaking the truth. The truth depends on perspective and is therefore relative. Man is the measure of all things. This relativism also applies to moral values, such as what is right and what is wrong. To Protagoras, nothing is inherently good in itself. Something is ethical, or right, only because a person or society judges it to be so. Protagoras was the most influential of a group of itinerant teachers of law and rhetoric that became known as the Sophists, from the Greek sophia, meaning wisdom. Socrates and Plato derided the Sophists as mere rhetoricians, but with Protagoras there was a significant step in ethics toward the view that there are no absolutes and that all judgments, including moral judgments, are subjective.